I know a guy and a girl. They didn't even do long distance. They didn't know each other. They'd known each other for maybe 3-4 weeks, maybe a month or 2 max.
Yeah, they felt
Let's
the
just
Lord
say
had
2 months. And the Lord said, and I'm like, slow down. Nah, man, the Lord said. And they get married. And she gets pregnant on day one,
man. I'm telling you.
I'm sure the first time they had sex, she got pregnant. Okay, cool. But you know, like a lot of couples, they start off without money. See what then happens, right? So there's no money, right? She's pregnant. Hormones, right? So I don't know you. Now I'm dealing with you.
Always, yeah. Any small thing, you're crying, you're angry, you can't get out of bed, you're throwing up, you're ill, you're sick.
That was my first experience.
It's a liability.
Right?
Unfiltered. Hello and welcome to another episode of
What's with the quiet? Hello and welcome to another episode of
I just know it. We haven't even started yet. You already.
Because
we have a special
he
guest.
didn't even let him start the first sentence.
Because we have a very special guest. I was going to go around and do on. I have a very special guest.
Sorry, don't be annoyed.
Me annoyed, Ke? No. My name is Tunde Makonjola. I'm joined by my awesome co-host. Esther Griffin.
That's what you were saying about her earlier. Now she's awesome.
Yeah, well, we're on camera, so I have to.
I don't believe everything.
I have to be demure.
Clearly,
I have to be demure.
Oh my goodness!
They on 10.
Don't get your pastor.
On 10.
I have to be demure. Obviously, Pastor Femi Motayo, PF Unfiltered. We all know you. We appreciate you. But I want to get to the special guest.
Oh shit!
You know, a guest that it was hard for us to get on the show. You know, she's very busy. Obviously, she has a lot of stuff going on now. We just wanted to take the time to.
I asked her to come and she came. Full stop.
Yeah, it's
PF
not
had
that
to use his
simple.
connections.
It's not that, it's
to
not
get
that
her
simple.
here.
She has a business. She works. She leads a church. I mean,
Three
women's
businesses,
ministry,
man.
3 businesses.
events at church. She's a very, very busy woman. Very busy.
You make it sound like
already.
the rest of us are playing. I don't understand.
We're not playing.
Because
We're
I'm
not
here, that
as-
means that's why you guys don't value my time, because I make time to be here. You know how busy I am.
PM, this is your podcast. You have to be here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Okay, all right.
Anyway, can we give a round of applause for Pastor Ege?
Oh my goodness!
We're so happy to have you.
Very
I'm
excited.
happy to be here.
Pastor AK, can you tell
Never
us your
scared.
full name?
Estella Akudo Omotayo.
So why do we call you Pastor AK?
Okay, so everyone, I used to go by my middle name when I was little, and
What's your middle name, Biko?
Akudo, and most people
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
Akudo.
Then
Yeah, she's not going to get it.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you. That's
that's why-
exactly
that's
why.
She's not going to get it.
That's exactly why. So my pastor in Nigeria was like, you know what? He got tired of me having to correct everybody. So he's like, you know what? We'll just call you AK. And then it stuck. Like what? How many years ago?
Sorry?
1998. Almost 30 years ago, and it just stuck. So yeah, that's where
I always
it comes
thought
from.
it was like AK, yeah.
Literally, when he started, it was AK-47.
Okay.
So they actually used to call me AK-47.
Oh, okay.
That is
But then
insane.
at a certain point in your life, no one can be calling you AK-47.
That's a whole gun,
It's cool when
guys.
you're in college, but as an adult woman, no.
all
Yeah,
right,
there
man.
Okay, well, I mean, we appreciate the quick intro. And for...
Why don't you go to ask me why they call me Pierre?
I think
Well,
we
we've
dealt
been
with
through
that.
this already.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't
Pastor
understand.
Femi, this is not a
I used to
competition.
like-
so many times.
So
Wait.
I don't see, this is my problem, right? I don't get all this kind of nice special treatment.
This is a lie.
I don't.
I mean, technically,
Why?
he's not really lying. And I mean, we can ask the
producer
We
audience.
give her
Yeah.
special
Like,
Put it
treatment
in
all
the
the
comments if you
time.
feel like PF is not honored on PF Unfiltered, please.
Please don't start this
So we
thing.
can
We don't-
correct. And we can,
It's okay. We don't want your comments.
so we want your comments.
on that particular
On that-
issue. We don't
Yeah,
want
we want your comments. We appreciate your comments. Estabi. We want your comments. You know, we do. We're just PF. There's a very
Sorry.
special guest.
It feels interesting to be here because usually I'm hearing this banter like on my speakers driving in my car. So it's kind of fun to be part of it. Oh, so I get a chance to actually say all I want to say
Yes,
when I'm
you do.
listening in the car. And I want to be like
Yeah.
cut it out.
Yes.
Like, dude, cut it out.
And-
Like,
You can say-
And we have some ground rules.
yeah, okay.
Pastor Femi, this is not a competition.
Okay.
I just want to say it's
Hey,
Wait,
not a
why do you think-
competition.
Why did you have
because
to
Pastor Femi has already started. I can already discern what is
call
happening.
me
that-
Pastor Femi?
PF.
Yeah, it's weird.
It sounds, it does
Yeah.
actually. Actually, every time people say Pastor Femi, I think of Pastor Femi Bikunle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who that?
And for those who don't know, Pastor Femi Bukule, who's
He's one of our associate pastors at New Covenant House.
Oh, I know who that is. My bad, Pastor Femi. I know who you are.
And this is on record now.
Yeah, I
That's-
can see.
it's on record now. You're gonna have to bring appeasement.
So he actually leads our foundational discipleship program at church. So
No, he doesn't.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
all right, on to the
something.
next.
All right, so I mean,
Wait, pause. He did though.
Yes, he did.
Okay,
You're absolutely
all
right. He
We can-
did. Yes.
Yeah.
He
Okay,
you're,
cool,
You're right.
cool.
He did.
All right.
Up until a few months ago. No,
Exactly.
you're right. You're good.
All right. So, I mean, the reason why we wanted you guys to come on because we really wanted you all to talk about your journeys. And, you know, where it started, how did we get here? How did our church become 16 years old? All the things, relationship things. And so I'll let Tunde start off with his questions.
Can I? Is this safe?
It's safe.
It's not safe.
It depends. It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends.
No, because I personally am curious about like the both of y'all
Mhm.
individually, your journeys before you met each other.
Yeah.
Right, what that was like. I know PF has shared in the past, and then Pastor Eke, for you when you laid eyes on this handsome man. See, I'm being nice now.
It was a prayer meeting. I won't lay hands on or eyes on nobody. I was like focused on the Lord.
Okay, so that's interesting. Like, tell
Nah,
us more
I'm
about
just
that.
playing.
Like, yeah, that.
So
that was...
I went to college in Nigeria, west coast of Africa, and in Unilag, University of Lagos College of Medicine, and we had the church that I belonged to was planting a fellowship in the college that I went to. And so I remember we had like a small group of people who were from the church and also were in because the College of Medicine was a bit of a smaller college compared to the large university. And so they gathered us together and were like, they were going to bring two guys who, not students, who were going to pastor the fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So I do remember, because I have like a very visual memory, I do remember him walking in with our other pastor. He was the assistant then, walking with our other pastor, Pastor Shola. I just remember thinking, this guy is tall and he's dark. But other than that,
Oh no, the answer part. You know, it's really tall, dark, and handsome. You just tall.
I was very, the funny thing,
Okay.
I was about to say and handsome, but then I was like, don't say that. Because PF, I won't leave it down.
That's true.
PF already thinks I was digging on him from like way in the beginning, so I can't say that. No.
Look how he's doing. Look at
Just to kiss us tomorrow, like,
I'm there trying to be. See, I'm sitting down. I'm minding my business. So you will not leave me alone.
Sorry.
No, but
You want to cook
seriously,
me.
I do remember thinking that, because also I've always been like just a bromance head. So I do remember thinking that briefly, but it was a very brief thought, and then focused back on the prayer meeting. So that's how we met. And then we became really, really good friends. We're really, really good friends for a couple of years. It was a large friend group actually. And then we just sort of hit it off and got closer and closer. But yeah.
Wait, what does that mean? Hit it off and got closer and closer?
No, not in a romantic way at all. Like literally like pals.
Mhm.
Like good pals.
That's your best friend. He was your best friend.
I wouldn't say best. No, I did have I would say maybe like 3 or 4 of them from that group I was much closer to than the rest. So there were maybe like 3 best friends.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say, yeah, but no, not a single romantic thought in my head. For real. I mean, we've said this before. There was actually 1 or 2 people then he thought maybe, and then he would talk to the friend group and would pray with him about it. So I really wasn't thinking about that at all. I mean, think about it too. I was like 20 when I met him.
Yeah.
So, and I was in college. I was in school.
What's the age gap between you all?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like an ideal age gap? You guys would say 4 years.
Honestly, when it comes to age gaps, I don't think there are any ideals. I've met couples that were the woman is 7 years older than the guy, and they're doing great.
What about like 15 years difference?
I think age is a question of the perspective of the people.
Yeah.
Right? You have people who are mature, and you have people who are not mature. You have people who their age, they lead with their age, and you have people who forget their age.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the individuals. I wouldn't specify an ideal age gap.
I've never thought about age when it comes to PF. Never. Like, it's never been a little bit.
Well, women don't usually think about it that much when the guy is older, like maybe like close in age, I would say. I'd say 5 years,
it's
like
4
close
years
in-
close. Because you would
relatively.
think I would be a little bit more like, with some 4 years old. And then I met him as my pastor. Plus he was like grown, had a, big man job, like a proper job.
Right.
I was 20 and in school.
Yeah.
So you think I'd have more, quote unquote respect,
Mhm.
but
Clearly,
he's my
you
guy.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's kind of consistent. Like in the dating episode,
Yeah.
plug, you guys should check it out if
Yeah.
you haven't. You mentioned that when it comes to something serious, or that the dating landscape is a little bit like finicky now because we are doing things we should not be doing. Ellie,
All the time.
you have mentioned like
AKA
friends
is
first.
doomed.
Well, I don't think the word you used was do.
Mhm.
Is that the word?
That's what I heard.
Oh, okay.
That what-
Like the environment currently in the dating environment is, I won't say doomed, but it's setting itself up for failure because
Oh, yeah.
we are
Yeah.
going
Oh no,
things-
no, it's
Yeah.
obvious now.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
the
seeing it
results
now. We're-
speak
yeah.
for themselves.
Yeah,
No, but-
we're not seeing people. We're not.
People are not
The
getting married.
people getting married. The statistics are getting worse
Right.
and worse.
Yep.
And
Now, I was trying to highlight the
Right.
point you made about being friends, genuinely being friends first before
yeah.
you now
Oh
start
yeah,
to add.
it's key. It's like, I feel like friendship for us has been like a rubber band. So we stretch back and forth through all different what's the word, like seasons of our
Yeah.
lives, but that friendship is where we always come back to that. We started from that, come back to that, start from that, come back to that. I always say, like, even when we're having like a disagreement, that friendship means that I'm really trying with, or let me say we rather, I'm really trying with all of that not to hurt each other, because you care about this person not just as your lover and all of that, but also as your friend. Their well-being is paramount. Like, literally, this is your best pal. So
We're gonna come back to that.
okay.
Is it the same way? Sorry, Esther. Is it the same? The meeting Pastor AK-47. Sorry. Is it the same? Was it the same perspective you had when you saw her? Like, look at this fine babe, big guy.
No, remember
Yeah.
he said they was just friends.
Yeah, no, but like,
yeah, it's exactly the same. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Well, you have to tell the truth, not just agree with him.
No, yeah, I just thought
When you
know,
laid eyes on that, what was the first?
I don't even
I-
think
I-
he
I-
noticed.
I-
Did you
I
notice
don't-
me
I-
that day?
So you remember, I come into a room, right, of students, right? There are a ton of them there.
Quite a few.
Yes, I'm not looking at anybody specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to.
And we were coming to plant a fellowship, and
Right.
you know,
And I was
it was a
coming
prayer
as a-
meeting.
I was coming as an
It was
assistant
serious.
pastor.
Yeah, and I know we were bursting in ministry, so the vibe was not to be checking out chicks. It was
It wasn't that kind of-
we
Are
were
you paying
bursting in
attention?
work.
Yeah.
Can
You know,
you pay
remember what
attention?
how we used to
Yeah.
say, yeah, we're
And
yeah.
I wasn't there to socialize, so
Yeah.
to speak. So I wasn't really looking at people and saying, "Oh, this is," you know what I mean? It was a very different environment. But I had seen her before that, though. I had seen her in. I'd gone for like a crusade or some event at Yaba Sports Center, Row Park in those days, and it was one of those church events. And I just seen somebody walk by, and I noticed the person, but I didn't give it any other thought until much later. That was the girl I saw that day, and it stuck in my head for whatever reason.
Which is impressive, because PF don't usually notice things like
I
that.
don't
Like,
remember,
yeah.
you know, those kinds of things. But yeah, that was at the point there was no thought in my mind. I didn't even. If that was the last day I saw her, I would not have been able to pick her out of the crowd
For real.
on that day. I
Yeah.
promise.
Yeah.
So can we fast forward? Now we're at the point where you guys have been friends for a long time. Can we now circle back to when he came to have that conversation with you? That initial conversation where he didn't ask you to marry him. I think he said something of, I think I want to spend the rest of my life with you, or something like that. Right? Am I close?
What's to
Very
that effect?
close.
Yeah.
What's to
I
that
can tell
effect?
you the exact words, but that's
Ooh,
funny.
That's like, we
You're
want to
very
hear them.
close.
Yeah.
Did you want like the whole story, or just the short version?
Yeah.
So
A very short
the
version.
very short version. We had this
Don't embarrass me. Very
I like that.
we had like this soccer field where we used to pray.
You're going on the long version. Now.
Okay.
Compress it.
I'm
It
compressing.
won't bring you back here. Oh.
That I'm good with not coming. I'm very nervous on that, with camera. So I'm very happy just listening to the podcast and watching it from home. So that threat won't even fly. Anyway, the short version. So we had this soccer field where we used to play. We used to pray rather.
Okay.
Well, play and pray. And I remember it used to get really dark when the streetlights went on. I remember I went there to pray one night, and there's this guy, that was really praying, like, seemed like he was in deep agony or praying about something that was very serious. And so on my way back, I I kind of like ran into him. And so he's like, oh, I'll walk you back to your dorm, nice and chivalrous and all that. And so he's walking me back and we're chatting. And then I say, hey, did you, hear that guy who was praying? Like, I wonder what his issue was. Like, he seemed like,
He was going in.
Yeah. And then I laughed, and then he didn't laugh. So I was like, oh, as a friend, like, dude, like, you okay? Like, was that you? Like, what's going on? And so he kind of didn't want to say anything. So it wasn't planned at all.
Wait, was it him?
Yeah, it was him. Yeah,
You are
seriously.
conflating two different.
No, I'm not. I'm very sure.
You are joining.
I can even tell you what we were wearing, so I'm very sure.
Doesn't matter. You are joining two separate
I'm
events.
not.
No, it's yours. That's like it's your story to tell.
Trust me, I have the better memory. But anyways, long story short, so then at some point we were kind of like, chatting about it, like, what's going on with him. And then he's, I don't know if I want to say his exact words. I'll say the one that wouldn't embarrass him, but there was like a preface, and then he was like, he's realized that he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. Now, I gave you the short version, but before that, literally just a few months before that was when like I said, no romantic thought in my head about him, but my folks lived in a different city, so I used to go home every Christmas, and spend about maybe a month or so at home.
That's okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Enugu State, which is the southeast of Nigeria. He's from the Middle West.
The Middle West.
I don't know. My geography is very. I said middle or the west. Is it the west? I guess Yoruba is west, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody help me.
South?
You guys are Yoruba. South,
South or west?
west. Okay.
Southwest.
I said
Oh,
middle,
south.
and then I was like west because I'm not sure which. Okay. In my mind, Yoruba is
I think
it's in
it's
the middle, but I
Ekiti,
guess
right?
it's.
Did we get it right?
it's
Ekiti. Okay.
You're
We
not
trying to
helping
remember.
me at all. Anyways, long story short, so I had gone home that Christmas and realized and missed him so badly, and that was when I realized that okay, my feelings towards him had changed. So I spent that whole time at home praying about it. So by the time he, he told me how he was thinking, feeling, whatever, I was already there. So we just had that whole conversation as to which is the part where I won't tell you the details because I guess that's part that he thinks would, he would be embarrassing.
Yeah, for
But it's unfiltered.
It's unfiltered.
Eh,
It's me being unfiltered.
Not me.
No Pastor Ike on Twitter.
Around me. That makes sense. But yeah, so by the end, I remember we talked until maybe like 3, 4 a.m. And by the end of the night, we were pretty much like had agreed to get married. So our first date was actually 2 weeks after that.
Right.
Yeah. It was 2.
But
'cause
you
it was-
already agreed to marry him.
Pretty much, yeah. Because this was March 26th. His birthday was April 12th. So our first date was on his birthday.
And we had known each
Took him
other
out for his
for
birthday.
a couple of years.
Yeah, I'd known him for
It
like.
wasn't like
Oh,
she
yeah,
agreed to
yeah.
marry me before she knew.
Remember
No,
now.
I guess I'm trying to figure out at what point in time did you feel the shift? Like was there
Like
a
I
particular
literally went
conversation?
home because I used to go home summer holiday, be home 3 months, didn't
Right.
give him a thought.
Right.
I literally went home that Christmas and it was like, whoa, what's going on here? In fact, fun fact, Unilag then called a strike.
Mm.
Like school, so school wasn't supposed to resume. I didn't tell my folks that Unilag was on strike. And I packed up and went back to school. And he, like, I'm not even going to lie, it was because of him. Like, I was like, okay, I need to go figure this out. I tried praying against
That's
it
the
for a
Ike
while, but
was
that didn't work.
chasing men.
Against
The feelings.
oh the
You want, who wants to come and be fall in love with their pastor? Just picture it,
people are
I'm the
doing
choir
it.
leader
In 2025,
in my
people are doing
fellowship
this.
in college, and I'm digging on my pastor. It was not.
Okay,
That was
I
that
see,
was
I
very
see.
stressful.
I don't know. I find
That's what people do now. They say I had a dream that
Papa?
and the
Uh,
pastor
that-
is my husband
No,
and the pastor is married, but they had a dream.
God forbid the bad thing.
for you did you feel spiritually self-conscious that someone was digging up on you as a
Well, he didn't know.
I had no idea.
We didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know.
okay.
I literally didn't find out until I was already like at home. Like it all happened like while we were separated. God has a sense of humor. While we were not together, so all
we're
the
not physically
together
same place. She's
Yeah.
off in
Enugu.
I'm in Lagos.
Yeah,
And I'm realizing I miss this girl. I'm thinking about this girl. And this is not cool. She's somebody in my fellowship, in the fellowship I was pastoring, So I guess the feelings were similar, the concerns were similar. You know what I mean? And I guess that was why I needed to pray through it, right? And not just assume that, okay, I like somebody. If it was just some person who was not in the fellowship, who was my peer, so to speak, I would not have given it as much. It wouldn't have been as much of a problem. But there was a problem simply because, like she said, I was her pastor, right? And she was a member of my congregation in a sense, right? That's what made it a bit of a challenge. We were good friends, right? We were really good friends. By this time, we had gotten to become really good friends. But that official designation of pastor, right, created a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, from an ethical perspective, if you want to call it that, you know, taking advantage of somebody in the fellowship kind of concern.
And then he would want to be sure that I feel the same way and I'm not responding or agreeing just because. You remember back in the day, you know,
Pastor.
once a pastor said it, it was like God had said it. So he
So that was the challenge.
yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, so what I'm hearing you guys say is obviously just any takeaways, be friends first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not prescribing friendship first.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not. It's not a prescription for everybody,
Right.
Yeah.
right? But what I have found,
Yeah.
right, is that friendship is a critical component, of a successful marriage.
Yeah.
Some people are able to develop it after.
I was going to say, if you weren't friends, if if that wasn't where you started from, intentionally, consciously develop a
But
friendship.
it's harder, and I'll tell you why it's harder. Marriage is a very
Pressure
interesting.
cooker.
It's an interesting relationship in the sense that you're trying to do life together with somebody, and you're making decisions with somebody. You have a different perspective. They have a different perspective, right? So it's very conflict. It can be conflict prone. It's hard to be friends with somebody who, well, you know what? I want us to vacation in Scotland. You want to vacation in South Africa, right? And those things can become quarrels.
Yeah.
Right? The feelings of hostility, sometimes they linger, right? It's hard to be friends with somebody who you're not friends with when that happens often.
Yeah.
And it will happen often.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make decisions about money right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
About
The
family,
wedding.
right off the bat,
couples, the wedding.
right? Wedding. You know, there's so many conflicts. There's so many landmines
Yeah.
that can make friendship difficult after the fact. It's not impossible,
Yeah.
but it can be difficult. It's easier to be friends when the stakes are
Your
very
decisions
low.
don't affect me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
If you want to blow your money,
and
it's
you
not
can be
my
friends,
business. You
yeah,
want to save me
because,
on my business.
you know, the stakes of our relationship very low.
Right.
Yeah.
But if, you know, there's money on the table,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
How do we spend it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Right?
can vibe with you if all those
Yeah,
other
okay,
things.
yeah,
Yeah,
when it's just
true.
vibes.
It's
It's
just
true.
vibes.
Yeah.
When it's
It's
just
true.
vibes, it's easy to be friends. But when it's like my money that I have worked hard for,
Yeah.
or my family that I love,
Yeah.
right? Friendship gets a bit more high risk.
And then a
Right.
lot of us get pregnant, add a kid to the mix, and then
No, I take it by apologize. You're not you guys are not prescribing that you have to be friends.
Yeah.
You're just saying that
man,
Yeah,
we strongly recommend. We would strongly recommend.
I would urge you,
okay.
Yeah.
right? I would urge you to consider a romantic relationship with somebody you already like.
Mm.
You see, you can love somebody and not like the person,
We see that all the time.
right? You can
Yeah, can you expand on that a little bit?
you can have very romantic inclinations towards somebody, right? But you just dislike the way the person does,
Which is so insane.
right? And it's a weird, because you would expect that
Yeah,
like
like
and
loves,
love go
yeah.
together. It's like a lot of parents I know love their kids,
Mm.
but many parents don't like their
Don't
kids,
like their kid. Ooh,
I tell you,
that's
they
a
get their
word.
kids get on their last nerves.
right? I like, I let me put it like this: people I love, I behave in a particular way,
Yeah.
right? It's not necessarily emotional. It's logical. I'm dealing with them as per scripture. People I like, I choose them over and over and over, not because I have to,
Yeah.
because I enjoy their company, right?
Yeah.
So my kids, I pay their school fees because I must. That is my obligation. I feed them because I must. That is my obligation. But if I want to relax and I want to go out to dinner, I don't want to see them. Right? Now, I'm fortunate that if I want to go out and my kids are at home, right, I would say, hey guys, you want to hang out? No, we don't. Okay, then let me find someone else. because I like being around them. They make me happy, right? You can be in a marriage and you're there and you're fulfilling all the obligations, right? But if you're not in that marriage, you will not want to hang out with that person, right? You will not want to have conversations with that person. And even now that you're in the marriage, those conversations are tough.
Yeah.
So it's reduced to us talking about the things we must talk about.
Yeah.
Right? And
Which
a
is
lot of
why
marriages are like this.
with our kids, for instance, we have like this, sometimes 3-4 hour conversations with them on the phone. Or they come home and we're up on the rooftop just hanging.
There's
And
nothing
like 3 a.m.
better as a parent than having kids.
We
who want to
we
hang out,
like our kids.
Yeah.
right? You know, I'll sit down with my daughters when they come home and we'll have drinks together.
He'll make dinner for them,
Right? We'll watch TV together.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not obligation
That
because they
sounds
have
pretty
friends.
cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. Now, if you are with your friend, right, and there is tension, right, it is easier to have conversations, right, with your friend.
Because you want to go back to having fun.
Right? If you're with your friend and it's easier to be vulnerable with your friend. It's easier to be trusting with your friend. It's easier to be
Feel safer.
with your friend, right? So
Yeah.
so
They
basically what
got
I'm saying
your
is that
back.
I understand. See, one of the problems with marriage, right, is that I don't know what you're thinking. Right? You don't know what I'm thinking. But if I trust you, right, it means that I trust that whatever it is you're thinking is good for me. Right? I don't know a lot of things. But because you are my guy, right? And that, I mean, you're a guy, right? So
Right.
you know, before I can call you my guy, it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been through stuff.
We've been
Right,
through
right,
stuff. You stood up for me.
Yeah.
You showed me that you had my back. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There's some people that we can laugh for 6 days non-stop. I will never call them my guy. I say I know that guy. He's a good guy. But this other one, no, now my guy.
My guy with that.
Now my guy with that.
Yeah.
If you come and tell me, say, Larry slapped somebody for road. Say, now my guy, man, the guy if you slap the person. It's not an endorsement.
Yeah.
Or you're not saying this person is perfect. Right? But flaws and all, this is my person.
Yeah.
You've seen their flaws, right? And you're
You've made an educated guess to an educated decision to accept it.
Now you get married to somebody who doesn't have that track record.
You don't know them like that.
To you that they have your back, right? They've never had to prove to you that they are your ride or die. No shenanigans, no history.
But when they walk in the room, you get butterflies. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, right? Those relationships, because again, we're going into a potentially beautiful thing. So there's a lot of potential and a lot of hope. But we're also going into a potential a field full of landmines, right? I would rather go into a field full of landmines with
a friend,
my guy, right? With my guy. So if he takes a bullet for me, he doesn't worry because he knows I'll take a bullet for him. But when you don't know the person like that, and many of us are married people we don't know like that, right? When bullets are flying,
what we've seen is everyone takes cover. I'm telling you, people do it. Like literally, they take cover.
This is so sad.
The longer the marriage lasts, God, by the grace of God, the more opportunity for those friendships to develop.
Yeah.
In the sense that, guess what? Now I'm getting to know you. Right? I'm getting to know you. I'm getting to know that, you're my guy. But I know your habits. Do you know what I'm saying? I know the things that make you laugh. I know the things that irritate you. Right? I have a friend who, if you send him a text in the morning and you don't say good morning, or you don't say how far or how now, he gets irritated.
Yep.
Right?
I have somebody like that too. So annoyed.
But I know that about him now. So when I send a message, I say, good morning, Oga. All formalities and protocols observed. Are we okay to continue?
You know what I do? I first send it, hey, have you seen blah, blah, blah? And then the second text would then be, good morning. Good morning. You know, like I'm just trying to mess with you. Like, because the first one you see is they didn't greet me. Then you see I greet you after.
Now that person, right? For me, that's funny. It's a quirk.
Right.
Someone else might find that thing extremely irritating about that person. Right? But you already married the person. But that is who they are. Right? You're married to the person. You have to live with the reality that they will not engage with you without certain protocols
observed.
observed.
When you then add cultural differences.
My wife knows that do not talk to me in the morning
Mhm.
before
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. 11 is safer, but
11 is
definitely,
safer.
but definitely not before 10.
Yeah.
Just like,
Right?
just,
It's a me thing.
Hmm.
My wife, on the other hand, when you wake her up,
I wake up
Right?
chirpy,
she wakes up chirpy, but
but
she's not
tired.
coming out of bed.
Yes, I'm chirpily in my bed.
When I open my eyes,
Yes.
when I open my eyes,
His feet hit the
my
floor.
feet hit the floor. I don't do that.
I
Lingering.
snooze my alarm like
I don't linger.
if I need to get up at 7:30,
Oh,
I'm
she
gonna
get
start
up.
snoozing from 6:30.
Those
Thank
little
you.
habits,
He used to get on his last nerve.
right, can be very annoying.
Right.
Mm.
And if you don't have any history with the person, those habits can define the person.
Yeah.
Before
used to
you
think I was
find out,
lazy.
before you
Yeah.
find out,
I used to
right?
think I was a little lazy, and I think you were rather grouchy.
I didn't think you were lazy because you had shown me over 2, 3, 4 years that you were not lazy.
So why did it get on your nerves?
It's just irresponsible. How do you wake up?
Hey, mercy.
So wait, lazy, not lazy, but irresponsible. I'll take lazy, please. Against
Yeah, just chilling on
irresponsible.
your bed.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, wait,
But
Pastor Femi, you have
find
to
it
address it.
I find it irresponsible. I find it lazy, but it doesn't define her. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because
it has
when-
already
when-
been defined.
Plus, when I
That's
do
good.
get out of that bed, part of what I'm doing is just charging my batteries.
Right.
When I get out of that bed,
Out.
is go
Then it's
go
annoying because she's doing too much.
I need to
But the point I'm trying to make
recharge
is
my
this, right?
batteries.
And this is one of the things that people don't sometimes understand.
Yeah.
If I don't know you, I'm learning you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if I'm
Already,
learning
I've
you-
already married you.
And if I'm learning you in a high stakes environment,
Mhm.
if I'm learning you over disagreements,
Mm.
yeah, I'm going to have a negative impression.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And everything I do with you is going to flow out of that negative impression. And a lot of people don't realize that their marriages are struggling because they formed an opinion about their spouse and they're dealing with them out of that opinion. But that opinion was not formed in good times. That opinion was not formed without pressure.
Whereas with friendship, the good times are the baseline.
Yeah.
So then there's something to always remember. It's kind of like couples who don't do like long distance, then they get together, and because they've been long distance, the first thing they do is get pregnant. Because they're like, we've been married 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Now that we're finally together, they already feel there's a delay.
Yeah.
And then
Personally, big mistake. Because then what happens is you then have this hormonal hungry.
I can tell you, I can give you a story.
Yeah.
Fact. I know a guy and a girl, right? They didn't even do long distance. They didn't know each other. They'd known each other for maybe 3, 4 weeks, maybe a month or 2 max.
Yeah, they felt
Let's
the
just
Lord
say
had
2 months. And the Lord said, and I'm like, slow down. Nah, man, the Lord said. And they get married. And she gets pregnant on day
day
one.
one, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
She gets
We have so many couples. The honeymoon, she comes back from honeymoon pregnant.
She gets pregnant on day one. I'm sure the first time they had sex, she got pregnant. Okay, cool. But you know, like a lot of couples, they start off without money, right? Well, guess what happened?
No, some of us don't, but you know.
A lot of couples.
Yeah.
I didn't say you. I said a lot. And Esther, the way you said it makes me.
I wanted to say that.
I think you actually started off without money.
There was
Some of
someone
us
being too
don't.
defensive about that.
But see what then happens. right? So there's no money, right? She's pregnant. Hormones, right? So I don't know you. Now I'm dealing with you.
Always, yeah.
From
Any
pregnancy
small thing, you're
hormones.
crying, you're angry, you can't get out of bed, you're throwing up, you're ill, you're sick.
That was my first experience.
It's a liability.
Right? Yeah. And
It
then
feels like a liability.
Wait,
Not that.
so
That's why correct. I say it feels like.
So she does not. So she's not on her best
Right.
Yeah.
physically, right? Presentation wise,
Emotionally,
emotionally,
Yeah.
things are spreading.
she's not on her best. That's number one. Number two, he has no money, so he's not on his best, right? Yeah. And guess what? He doesn't have money. He's not on his best. His wife is pregnant. He doesn't have money. You're a guy. You know that is for a guy high stakes pressure. For a woman, pressure.
Anxiety.
So guess what happens? They turn on each other.
As I'm even hearing the story, my anxiety is rising.
Yes.
Like,
So every decision
That's a
is coming
scary-
from fear,
yeah.
right? And anxiety. And each day they're experiencing this version of
And you can't
themselves,
escape because you're married now.
right?
Mm.
They're experiencing this version of themselves without any other version in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? They don't
This
have
is all
good
I
times
see. This is
version.
all I know.
They don't have fun, happy, kind version. They just have cranky, angry, moody, silent version. Right? The marriage doesn't last a month. Because I realize that I feel like I'm married to this crazy woman.
Yeah.
Right? And she's thinking she's married to this crazy guy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what happened?
She takes off back to her family and never comes back.
Life happened before. It's like when the wind hits a building, right? Before the foundations have set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the building if it had the
Like
foundation
the right
first.
foundations, yeah. And what happened to the child? I'm just curious.
Well, the child has grown, but they're divorced, and now it's a
They
problem.
co-parented ish.
They're not co-parenting.
Oh,
It's a very contentious.
Because again, all I've ever known of you, there's
And that's why I always would like people.
So I think
to understand
I don't think you're a good person, quote unquote. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think I know. My experience of you is that you're not a good person.
Right.
Yeah.
So
even though that's not like to your
That's
point.
not necessarily the truth.
truth, but those are the times I
Yes.
always know.
That's
Yeah.
the point,
Yeah.
right? My knowledge of you is based on my experience of it.
yeah.
Right? Or if I don't have a good experience of you, I have a bunch of people who can say, no, she's not like that. No, he's not like that.
Yeah.
Then there's a bit of a conflict. But in this particular scenario, nobody knew the both of them like that. To be able to say,
To vouch.
yes.
Yeah.
So two strangers to each other get married with good intentions, I'm sure.
And they're good people. At least the one that we knew personally, good people.
I don't know how we got on this topic, but I do want to go back.
Yes, sorry.
Because to that point, we have Mama Mary's all-purpose seasoning. We have the low sodium option and the regular. Mama Mary's all-purpose seasoning is a Nigerian inspired mix that can be used to season what exactly?
You can use it to season your soups, your stews, your rice, your meat, your relationships, your relationship with God, everything.
Hey, mercy.
Everything. You can season it with it. And how do they order?
You can order off Amazon using our promo code of
PF Summer 10 for 10% off. That is PF Summer 10 for 10% off.
So my husband actually used the seasoning this past weekend. He made some stew and it was so good. He actually used the low sodium option. And so when he tasted it, he was like, oh, this is really, really good. And I was like, yeah, buddy. And I was like, which one did you use? He said he used the low sodium. And I was like, oh, that means like it still has a good amount of taste to it, even though it doesn't have all the salt. And so, the options are really great. Go and get your Mama Mary's all-purpose seasoning. PF boldly got on his podcast,
Thank you.
said that he does not believe, or it does not make sense for men to get down on one knee and propose.
I knew you were going to go.
Pastor AK,
So
we need to
this
hear
is
from
one of
you.
the things when I heard it on the
Go to
podcast.
relax.
I was like, cut, like so let me tell you a couple of things about PF. And we can agree to disagree. Let me tell you, he PF likes to be contrary.
No,
PF likes to be contrary.
We're
I'm
listening.
telling-
Pastor AK, we're listening.
Yes, I'll tell you.
don't undermine my position.
Not at all. I'm telling you, he likes to be
Just be clear.
contrary. I will say. So I'll tell you where the truth is this. It doesn't matter how people start off. We've been at weddings where we all cried. It was like, you know what I'm saying? When
So
I say we all cried,
beautiful.
thank you.
It was
It
nice.
was like, it was, I mean, like, oh
Great
my God.
poetry.
Like, yes, like you could see
That's not the point
the
I was trying to
birds.
make.
No. I'm going somewhere.
No, I don't want
I'm
you
going
to.
somewhere.
I don't want you to whitewash.
I'm not whitewashing you. I'm telling you. I've known this guy and I've been friends with him 30 something years.
and married for
Shout out.
Yeah.
and married for
27 and a half
Okay.
years. Yeah. So
And
very
it's not necessarily the quantity of the marriage, it's the quality of
yes.
the marriage.
Also, we've never done any. I think the most we've been apart maybe 2-3 days.
wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Vienna. When I had that mistake, maybe a few weeks.
Then I was gone for like
Yeah.
3 months.
That's impressive.
Then I was gone for 3 months.
Well, oh yeah, we were married then. That was like in the very beginning. I'd actually
It
forgotten
wasn't in the
about that.
beginning.
It was now.
Dara was already born.
Yeah, but Dara was when a little early. We got married 1998. Dara was born 1999.
Yeah.
So it was in the beginning.
Like, if you watch them. Oh,
We're
sorry.
not even
Right.
here.
No, go on. We're just watching you guys.
So this is my thing.
Wait, let me finish. They asked me the question. Let me finish.
Yes.
So the point I'm trying to make is this.
I did not get down on one knee to propose.
No, he didn't. No. Oh, was that what you wanted to know?
Essentially,
Because you said it in the previous.
Yes. Yeah. So like we said,
previous podcast.
the proposal was not planned.
right.
It was
But
very
he never. Did
spontaneous.
he ever do it? Did he ever get down on one knee?
I don't know.
Let me tell you what I believe.
No,
Was
no,
it
no.
both knees?
Wait, let me. I don't know,
Let me
guys.
tell
No,
you what
so babe,
I'll tell
let
you.
me. I have the floor right
No,
now.
because I need to explain to her because I don't think she understands my point. So I need to
No,
explain
that's
to her.
what.
Esther.
No, that's what
Let
Pastor
me
AK was trying
tell-
to land. She was trying to
yeah,
land.
I'm not going to explain.
You asked me, then you can come back and
essentially
verify.
what you were trying to say is like it doesn't matter how you guys are started because it really what actually matters is the process of what you guys are going through, right?
Yes,
And
so,
many
so
people
if
do it
a lot of
differently.
people do like these proposals, these marriages, these
Yeah.
wow factor things,
Yeah.
and attach so much importance to them, and don't do the things that actually matter. Some of the things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 1000% with you. PF did not. I don't remember him getting on any. So for the actual ring, it was my birthday. So he had like this, huge box of stuff. Funny enough, I thought it was a teddy bear. That's what's so funny about it. And then those boxes and boxes and boxes, and then you get down to it, and it was like a little box. So I opened the box with the ring myself.
Yeah.
And even if he had thought getting on, which also don't forget this was 30 years ago, people weren't really doing the getting on your knees thing.
Yeah.
I was too busy like screaming and jumping with the ring for us to be the
Well, I would say in Nigeria nobody was doing the getting on their ring, but in America people were getting on their ring. Getting on their knees.
Wait, now let me finish, babe. No. Yeah, you have to be patient. But I will say this. If you and you made me lose my train of thought for a second, but so at the end of the day, for us, the whole, getting people to get a proposal, we didn't do none of that.
Yeah.
It was a very private, and honestly, you also have to know the person you're dealing with. I would not have wanted a public proposal. I'm really not. Even being on camera today, I had to like be praying in tongues all day because I'm not that kind of person. However, there are things that PF would say in a contrary way because that's the principle of it. But there are some of those things that he will do. It's not about doing it or not doing it. If at that time, listen, if at that time PF thought it was important to me for him to do the one he proposed, PF would have done it without blinking.
No.
Oh,
I'm telling you what I know.
So,
No. I'm telling you what I know.
I
So
am here. I'm
now
glad-
you can be contrary if you like, but I'm telling
See, let me
you
tell
know
my
that
point.
whole opening
Like,
door
subscribe
thing.
if
Like
you're enjoying
Can
it.
I tell you something? Other than that whole coming around to the car, which even I think is a little ridiculous. PF opens doors for me. PF and I have been out the whole day and do you know, because I knew this question was coming up, I marked it. Every time I stood in front of the door, PF opened the door. However, if I stood in front, listen though, if I stood in front of the door and was like, open the door,
waiting for him to.
like PF, we will not go through that door that day. That's what I mean by his contrary.
Let me tell you what I believe.
Yes.
I believe in equality. Right? I believe that men
Equal rights.
I believe that men and women are equal. I believe that my wife is my partner, right?
Yes.
And she deserves all the respect and all the honor that I deserve.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a two-way street,
Yeah.
right? I do not believe in anything that makes me feel less, and I would not offer her anything that makes her feel less.
That's the truth.
When those things, the kneeling down and all of those things that men have to do, right, to get a woman, are many times subconsciously the things that men are trying to reverse by dominating after they get married. Right? All those little things that we do to belittle a man to get him to.
They're forcing him to chase her.
That chasing, that putting
Playing hard to get all
talking to him
the
some type of way
obstacle.
was interested in you.
Yeah.
But when he now catches you, he wants to reset. He wants to correct.
For real.
He wants to say, okay, now you are my wife. Before I was your boy, I was chasing you. You answer my call when you like. You treat me like I'm disturbing you. Now we're married. I am the head of this house.
Yeah, it's my jungle now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I personally
totally agree.
do not subscribe to anything that makes anybody less. Because human beings, the things that go on in the back of our head, even we don't always know.
We might not even, some of those
always
reactions
know.
are subconscious.
If you make me feel small, and I swallow it because you know what, that's what society says.
Yeah.
when I get a chance, right, I'm going to assert myself.
Retaliate,
Yeah.
I'm going to assert myself. That's what I think. Now,
Right.
me personally, my wife knows this. If you stand in front of the door and fold your hands, wait for me to open the door, I will not open.
That's what I'm saying.
I won't open
like,
it. However, if we're walking together, right, the door is heavy. You're my wife. I'm stronger than you physically. It's a fact. I will open the door for you. But you now stand there.
Like it's like an entitlement.
Like,
Yeah. No, you'll be like, is your heart paining you? Is your heart broken? But I funny enough.
And if I'm carrying something,
yeah.
and you expect me to put down what I'm carrying
And still open
to
the
open the
door.
door for
But
you,
why would you do that?
I would.
No,
dump the
people
things on
actually
your-
require that. That's madness.
It's that
You
fun,
people-
yeah.
yes.
I don't understand.
That he's carrying.
Shouldn't you open the door because the person is carrying
Yes,
something?
you
You
would
see,
think.
that is where that's why I have
You're
a
right.
problem
You would
with
think,
the
Pastor
whole
Ike, but
one.
Oh, I
listen.
didn't know the culture. So can I say something that may spark off? And I'm not sure if I should speak, but let's just all right. The funny thing is that some of these things are cultural things
Mhm.
because
Not
at
in
the
Bible.
traditional wedding,
I don't-
no, hold on. At the traditional wedding, the women, so a lot of these things are cultural things. Now, the guy kneeling down to propose may not be in Nigerian culture, but what some of the thoughts I've heard women throw around is kind of because at the traditional weddings, the women kneel down to give the guy the drink.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Yes, so on a cultural level, if we don't attach stuff to it, right? There are now a whole band of women who are refusing to do the kneeling down to give the man the drink because again,
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's on. You probably don't follow like any kind of Nigerian social media.
I do a lot.
Oh really? Okay. Let
It's
me
not-
not hook
it's
you
not
up with
better
some of
like
them
that.
because they probably
no,
are.
Vicky
are
James right
messy.
now. I follow Vicky James.
What is
Yeah,
Vicky
Oh,
James?
Nigeria
Vicky
designer.
James
She's
is
really-
not.
Yeah,
She's not
Vicky
messy
James
on
is
that.
not-
She's not that kind
No.
of.
So
no.
that-
She's
that
not.
means
In fact, Vicky
it's
is
an Eastern.
the-
It's an Igbo thing.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
my
Yoruba
wife-
people
my
don't
wife
do
Black
it.
people don't do it.
No, we
Yeah,
do.
we don't-
When they say go and meet your husband at the top, you get down on your knees
I was
and then
going to
you
say, I've
open your
seen
hand for
Yoruba
money.
weddings. You kneel
That
down.
part.
I'm
aware
Yoruba.
of that.
I've not.
You know,
I've seen it in Igbo.
You know, after
cultures.
the woman comes out, she does the introduction for the husband, for her family,
Yeah.
husband's family. When she's now going to meet him, there's this part where they say, "Come and get money from your husband," in a sense. So she goes and she gets on her knees
Yeah.
and she's like dancing while she has her hands open. And he's like
I
putting
was going
money.
to say from the
putting
videos
money
I've seen. Yeah,
in
I've
her
seen the
hand,
women
like-
kneel.
I don't know.
That's a
Again,
Yoruba thing.
culture is very
And
crazy in
also-
Nigeria
also-
because all the
also,
different tribes do
Before she
different
kneels
things.
down,
Mm.
collect money for him. He has knelt down for her father and her parents.
That's her father,
He has,
not
he has
her.
dobaled. He has prostrated
Yeah.
for them.
That's but not
Right?
not for her.
Yeah, not for her though.
Not for her, but again, right? Me, thank God I've done it one time and I'll not have to. But I ain't kneeling down for.
I think at the end of the day, some of these things are a
Larry,
fun.
did you kneel down? You proposed to your wife.
Oh
Pastor
my
Larry.
God.
Our producer,
Guys-
did you kneel down to propose to your wife? Ah, okay.
Really?
I know
Wow,
Kule
people
must
are
have.
showing their
I
colors.
I mean,
Mark.
I
Tunde
knelt
must
down.
have.
No, but
No, but apart from that,
no. I find me care. No, I want to be with the boys. No, I
No,
didn't kneel
no,
down
no,
for baby. I didn't kneel down for nothing.
apart from that, it's some of these things, like I said, they're cultural.
Yeah.
If you are so
My
in
wife is-
England, no, hold on. A lot of these things are cultural. And the thing about culture is that they have different connotations.
Mm.
So I don't want to get bogged down with culture. I'll just mention this and we can move on. There are things in Igbo culture. And Igbo culture, again, you have to be careful because the next Igbo village is doing something different.
Mm.
There are things in Igbo culture that are not a problem because everybody understands where the culture came from
Mm.
and what it signifies. And they treat it a certain way. And if it's Igbo people in that place marrying each other, there's no quarrel because everybody understands where it's coming from. The problem with the way the world has shrunk is that you have cultures and people don't even understand where they're coming from
Mhm.
anymore. And so the connotations are things that have no
We project
bearing.
our
Mm.
own
Right.
vision.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
That's good.
Exactly. So
That's good.
whether you're kneeling down, not kneeling down, now becomes a
A thing.
A
So,
thing.
It's subject to European
Right.
interpretation.
exactly.
Because
Just
the Western person
eh,
could watch that Yoruba or Igbo culture and be like, no, why is
what,
talking
eh,
about
so
rock?"
did you
And
see?
just like me, an Ekiti man,
Yeah, being
watching
like kneeling
down to propose to your wife.
exactly.
When you can bring a few tubers of yam to her father
and be
and
done
they
with
will
it.
give you even her sister too.
I get it.
Yeah, so I saw this thing, right?
Yeah.
There's this video
I
I
was just
saw
joking,
where
please give-
during the bridal dance, at a wedding, one lady gets in between them and starts trying to dance with the guy, and then they kind of are trying to pull her off him. But the bride was laughing. And so when the video came out, everybody like cursed that woman out. And then people who are from whatever tribe, some East African countries, said it is a thing in their culture. It's usually the guy's cousin or a family member.
Yeah.
And then they
saw
have
that.
to kind of like give her money or something for her to go away. So that's why the bride was laughing, because it's something they're used to. Now, without
Social media
context,
people saw it and
They
they
ran with
cursed. I mean, oh my God. By the time you were done, the stories were like all kinds of. She was a baby mama, she was a jealous, whatever, she was a thing.
And I wanted to highlight something because I'm seeing a lot of like similarities, and I think we don't give PF his flowers
Thank you.
enough.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Well done.
He mentioned something in a few episodes, I remember Esther, before, about morality and righteousness.
Yeah.
And now what is right in a particular place and moral.
What is
could
moral
be
in a particular
moral?
place?
So in
Yes.
a particular place could be immoral somewhere else, and he got a lot of like
Exactly.
stick for it. But I'm seeing what
Yeah.
you guys mean, giving this example.
But one thing
Yeah.
I will tell you,
Sure difference.
having done this, being married this long, being friends this long, and having done marriage counseling and premarital counseling for about 30 years now, one thing I will tell you, right, is we keep making things that are not the main thing. And that is the biggest problem. I will take a guy who I don't lay down in bed, turn next to me and say, babe, how about we get married? Right? I will take that and treated me the way he's treated me the last 30 years than a guy who, flew in on a helicopter, had rose petals, across the Empire State Building. What's the other thing they do where you have the plane ride? Will you marry me? Whatever. And then treated me badly. And I have seen that.
I think the assumption is that, you're going to get both, right? You get the guy who's going to, jump out of a parachute.
That
and
would be
land
nice.
On the X, will you marry me? And also treat you
That would be
nicely,
really nice.
right?
So jump out the parachute, land on the X.
Yes.
Acrobatically do on one,
Yeah.
pull out get the talks,
Yeah. And then give you a $2 million ring. Don't forget the price of the ring.
Ready for
Yeah.
Instagram,
That's
right?
great.
This kneeling down thing in England, Pastor Ago was telling me the proposal is in England. They don't even do the just kneeling down. The whole flying in family from everywhere. It's now, they've made it a cultural thing in England where the young people, in fact, with some of my nieces and nephews, it's been like they're already like, we're planning the wedding. And then they keep saying they haven't proposed. And so one day, that's how this subject came up. I asked him, I'm like, wait, I'm confused. Like, we pick wedding date. Like, he said, oh no, they haven't done the proposal. So again, culturally for them, it's what we used to call an engagement party. That's how I figured it out.
Oh, okay.
So they have family and friends come in, then they do the big proposal,
Yeah.
and then there's a party afterwards.
Yeah.
And people flying from all over. So it's an engagement party.
Yeah.
But now the proposal, by then we've already picked colors. We're doing Ashwebi. There's
You're married already now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think me saying getting down on one knee and all of that thing, right? I just, it's a personal thing, right? I feel like they're little symbols of equality, right, and inequality that society has permitted, right? And sometimes we need to be careful, right? If you want to kneel down, please get down on one, get down on two,
Lie down,
stand on
onto
your
the
head.
roller.
It's all good.
yeah.
I just personally
But do right
feel,
after.
Yes,
Please do right
thank you.
after. Do right after.
after.
Don't, yeah.
That thing I said about morality and righteousness, and I just need to make that point, right? Culture, is the way we do things in a particular people group,
Yeah.
right? And some of the things that are important to us in that particular people group, right, mean nothing in some other,
Yes.
right? Even down to sex. The way some cultures look at sex and the way other cultures look at sex, you put the two of them together and they're like, you people are,
Crazy.
you are mad.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're the ones that are
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
right? The way we dress,
Yeah.
what is considered immoral in one culture is considered expediency in another
Oh,
culture.
Yeah.
remember in South Africa, when your folks were in Mozambique, the first time we went to church, and it was summer, and everybody's wearing shorts and camis with spaghetti straps. I was scandalized.
What are you talking about?
We used to wear
The
three-piece
king,
suits
the
with
king
the...
of Swaziland.
Yeah.
They don't call it Swaziland. They call it what's it called? It's a new name, Swati. In Swati, I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher the name.
All right.
Eswatini. The kingdom of
Oh, come
Eswatini.
on, let's give
I
it
know.
Omo Yoruba. That's all Igbo.
Are you sure it's Eswatini?
I don't know.
Eswatini.
Yeah,
Just
I didn't
sounded
even
really
know they
good.
changed it.
Eswatini. They changed the name.
Well, where was like,
like, come
what
on.
do you mean? Am I sure?
Right,
I know what I'm
Eswatini.
talking about.
The king, every so often, takes a new wife,
Mhm.
right? And all the maidens, right, the eligible maidens, they show up for this event, right? And they're only wearing skirts,
Wait, what do
So
you
he
mean?
can know what
Only
he's
wearing
taking.
skirts.
no
Yeah.
tops.
So he in 2025.
I don't know the last time they did it,
Mm.
but I've seen it.
You're
No, I
gonna
kid you not.
We're gonna be Googling
you know,
now.
it's fine.
With
You know,
sweat.
I'm hearing the story of Esther. That's what I hear.
That's what happened.
At least
That's what I
Esther
hear.
was
Wait,
way
wait.
back.
Oh, sorry, not you.
Wait now.
Yeah.
Story of Esther. I'm like, what are we talking? Oh,
You
the
were
Bible-
afraid.
Oh,
No, she means the biblical
The
Esther.
reason why I said this,
Esther.
the reason why I said this is this, right?
Clarify.
In Eswatini, right?
They don't think
Those
nothing of
women-
it.
Their breasts are out,
Mhm.
right? And I'm talking about young women. I'm talking about old women, young women, right? At the prime of their
Mercy of God.
femininity.
So he
Right?
can know what he's getting.
So he knows so he can choose, right? Those people don't think it's immoral. Don't think it's immoral. Wait, they don't think it's immoral.
It's
Choosing
messing
based
with your
off of-
mind.
No, but
Wait,
even the choosing is not even.
He's not using the wife for anything other than
guys,
that.
Oh.
You can't judge the culture.
I'm not
What-
judging the culture. I'm
okay,
just
good.
saying, like, the choosing.
I think
Yeah.
today is thinking that him and the wife are hanging out,
Yeah, like-
shooting the breeze.
Yeah,
It's
That's
possible,
it.
If
now,
that's the
now
case,
it's
yeah.
possible that he has already chosen somebody, but she joins the crowd.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Hey,
She joins the
okay.
crowd of women,
Okay,
and then
okay.
he chooses her out of that crowd.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Right? But the point I'm trying to make is that nobody in that culture is saying, look at all these girls showing off
Right,
their
right.
breasts.
Hmm.
They're immoral.
Yeah.
Now you do that, in Texas.
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not
Listen.
collect
Decent
200.
exposure.
Indecent
Go
exposure.
directly to
The,
jail.
the buckle of the Bible belt.
Hmm.
You're going to hell.
Not even
Straight.
jail. You're going to pass jail. Go to
Actually,
hell.
I should have said go directly to hell.
Right?
No, but you're going to jail. That's for sure.
For
So-
sure.
No, I get it. I
So-
get it.
Especially
so-
if they're
you know
younger
what I'm saying?
girls.
So we will sit here, right? And that's why God says, kill everybody there.
Hmm.
Kill everybody. Kill their goats, kill their cows, kill their
Hmm.
wife, their
Yeah.
children, kill everybody from that particular group.
Hmm.
And then we now say God is immoral.
Hmm.
Because if a man stood up and said, kill everybody, we'll hang him.
Hmm.
We'll put him before a firing squad.
Hmm.
We'll hang him. Right? And that is why I was making that point about be careful. Right? Morality at a certain point can be a cultural thing. Right? And even marriage.
The way that we do marriage.
The way
even.
that we do marriage.
In
Yeah.
the Bible, you see Abraham took, his
Sarah,
wife Sarah,
yeah.
and he knew her. That's the wedding.
That's it.
If they decide to do a party a week after, that's their
My wife is from-
7 day.
My
but
wife is
that's
from
their
the eastern
business.
part of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Very different culturally.
Yeah.
Marriage is very different there. I'm from the western part. I'm from, marriage is different.
Typical example with,
Bible then becomes our standard.
it's standard for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're not doing it the Igbo way or the
Yeah.
Yoruba way. We're doing it according to the word of God.
Yeah.
Are there mistakes? Absolutely. Do we have to fight sometimes against our upbringing because our upbringing is cultural? Absolutely.
Mm.
Right? But ultimately, the yardstick is not what they do in
And
America,
how you
what
feel
they do
about
in
it.
Africa.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
The yardstick is scripture. Right? And so when I talk about things like certain things, right? I'm talking about it from a cultural perspective. But from a scriptural perspective, the Bible says, submit ye to one another.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say, wives, submit to your husbands as unto the Lord. And husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and laid down his life for the church. And if you look at both things, basically it's just different ways of saying submit to one another.
Because you don't get more submissive than laying down your life for somebody. That's that's literally like give it all away.
How did we get here from asking whether I knelt down to?
Honestly, and this is PF Unfiltered, so
Okay, so you
Yeah,
guys,
Joe.
yeah.
But just to kind of like, I know we're about to close, and
Mm.
Pastor AK, 1,000 thank you.
We're definitely going to bring you back,
Doing
Pastor
this.
K. We have
Are
so
we?
Because
we
you know,
are. We
You
have
know,
so many more
are we?
yeah, there's
questions.
just there was
So
so
can be
much we
asking
wanted
her,
to cover.
did I kneel down or did I not kneel down? Esther,
No, we have one. Now that we've addressed this thing,
Yeah.
we can move on
are you
to the next.
satisfied now? Are you going to
I'm
bring this
very,
up?
I'm very
feel
satisfied.
Are you
better
going to
now?
solve it on the
Ah,
sideways?
she has avenged me.
She's good. And just to the audience, if you're listening or you're watching, like if you have any comments or if you have any questions, or you want to see Pastor AK again, feel like this is the most vibrant PF's been, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
And let us know. I wanted to, because you guys are talking earlier about like friendship and the benefits of friendship and what that looks like, like, and I kept thinking about like God, which is funny. You both pastor a church, you're both trying to usher like us into this. When I say us as a congregation, you're trying to usher as many people as possible, right, into that love that Christ has for the church.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, okay, as friends, like you were saying about being your guy, right? Like if God is my guy and he looks past, and he knows me, I guess. He knows, okay, Tunde, these are his quirks, but I
Yeah.
still ride for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why do you both think, and this is to close, that we don't reciprocate that to God in a sense? Like, when I say reciprocate, at least for me, from a personal standpoint, like, God is my guy and he loves me unconditionally. And whenever the roles are reversed, I feel like I know he's my guy, PF says he's my guy, Pastor says he's my guy on the pulpit, but when it comes to the actual like the friendship.
Are you living like he's your guy?
Like God is your friend, not just the guy you pray to
Yeah.
and meet. Your friend,
Yeah.
day to day.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe this is just a Tunde problem. But
No,
like,
I don't think it's a Tunde problem. I think it's a very common problem. I would say one of the things I think has kind of bled into that is, again, cultures and traditions of men. I read somewhere about how tradition is literally peer pressure from dead people.
damn.
Yeah.
Where'd you read that from?
I don't know.
Mm.
But I thought that was
Peer
like
pressure from dead
people say
people.
this is how it's going to be done. They die, they're gone.
Mm.
Circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
And we can't go back and have a conversation with them like, Mommy, this can't work no more.
Yeah.
So it's literally peer pressure. We're being pressured to do things a certain way. So I feel as though culturally and traditionally, Christianity has been presented to us in a certain way. If you read the story of the prodigal
God has been
son,
presented to
or
us.
God has been presented to us in a certain way. And so if you read the story of the prodigal son, the first time I really, really read it, it messed up my mind. Two stories that messed up my mind. Actually, three. One was the story of prodigal son. One was the one where the thief that was next to Jesus was being hung. He actually literally was the first person to get into heaven on Christ.
Mm.
When I told my daughter that, like, again, it blew her mind. First person to say, because of Jesus. Like, literally. And Jesus promised him that today you will be with me in paradise. Was a criminal. And he couldn't have been a small-time criminal, because you don't crucify small-time criminals. So he was a criminal. Right. And then the women that were in Jesus' genealogy, Rahab the harlot, Bathsheba, and the other two. So Tamar, I think, was one of them. The point I'm trying to make is, if we really study the word, really unpack it, the gospel, the good news, right, and start to replace what the Bible actually says with what we have been taught, and even the things that we weren't taught, but it was kind of implied, I think we'll get to that place where that friendship and that oneness with Christ, the Bible says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So he didn't die for you as a friend when you were, a friend, when you were good, when you were when you were his guy.
Yeah.
He died while you were yet in sin. And then when you read the story of the prodigal son, the things that blew my mind is the fact that the dad saw him from afar, which meant the dad used to walk out and look for him. And then the dad ran to meet him, kissed him, put a robe on him, put his signet ring, his, literally his seal of approval on him, threw a party, killed the fatted calf, because his crazy son who had blown his inheritance had come back. I think the key to fixing that is really starting to really study the word, starting to really read the gospels while rejecting all of the
dead people's peer pressure.
Yes.
That's
the
good.
dead people's peer pressure.
Yeah.
I think it's, who am I that you are mindful of me? The son of man that I would consider me. You have made me a little lower than angels. If you sit down and think of all the things God has done for you, right? Not all the things that he has not done. Let me rephrase that. The one or two things he has not done, stacked up against all the things he has done, you'll find out that he's your guy.
Yeah.
He's your guy, right?
That's good.
But we focus on the one or two things. And we focus on it from a place of, I need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H to get those one or two things. Right? It's hard to think of him as your guy. right? You think of him as a benevolent dictator, an arbitrary despot, right? If I settle him, it will not be tight.
Sorry, PF. We're going final to start using
Despot.
Benevolent.
something desperate.
I haven't said
go
that.
Go on. Sorry.
I hope you enjoyed our last episode.
No, finish. I was
missed-
like,
what was the big word? Did I
like-
miss it?
Despot. It's not that big, though,
Oh, it's not that
actually. Oh, maybe.
What's a
maybe it is.
despot?
Like those kind of dictators, like.
Oh, I've never heard that word in my
Oh,
Oh,
me, I even
really?
missed it.
Oh no, actually, yeah. Sorry, Pastor. Yeah, I didn't know what
Casey
despot
boys.
is. I didn't know what despot is. Sorry.
Eh?
Yeah,
Florian, see your guy.
Sorry, Florian.
Oh my
I apologize.
God.
I was thinking
Oh, no,
despot. No, sorry. It's finished.
Yeah.
Seeing God as one particular.
Basically, what I was trying to say is
Fair.
that we need to stop seeing God as that guy
Mm.
who's sitting on a throne in heaven, checking to see if you've jumped through all the hoops before he does anything for you.
Mm,
We need to remember that he gave us his best while we were still in that.
yeah.
Like Pastor Ike said.
And he said, "How much more will I not freely give you?" Like these are his own words. Those
Yeah.
are his own promises.
Yeah, it's truly peer pressure from dead people.
Mm.
Yeah.
And we can free ourselves from that and follow what the Word of God says.
Yeah.
You can't but think it's
The
your
Bible says, you should know the truth, and the truth that you know will set you free. It's impossible to get freedom without knowing we need the truth to literally kick out the lies. That's where freedom comes from. To really, for me, the epiphany was when I kept thinking, why does this thing that is called the good news always start by saying, You know what I'm saying? It never sounds like good news when they're it doesn't sound happy. It's like, if you don't, and the truth is all of
God
this.
will punish you.
All of these things are there, but
We
the
die
reason
and
why
burn in hellfire.
Jesus died was because God doesn't want to punish you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He literally did everything he could to make sure you don't experience that punishment. It makes it very clear that's not his desire for you.
Right.
That was where my journey into, and by the time I got to really studying that story of the prodigal son, I was like, you know what?
Okay,
Yeah.
Esther. It looks like you want to say something.
Yeah,
I
I think she wants to
do.
close. She's trying to usher us out. So please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, it's just one last thing. And it's, to close us out, what's your favorite date night spot that you guys like to go to?
I don't think you say we because it's different.
I shouldn't have asked about this food.
I'm surprised you
I actually know better.
Close us out.
Listen, we've
That's the whole
established.
episode.
Have we not established that PF and I are chalk and cheese?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know,
Rice and stew. I've already forgot. I don't
like
know why I
completely
asked.
different.
Okay,
I will tell you mine.
Yeah.
I won't even attempt to speak for him. There's this place. It's something Springs. It's on the colony. I don't know. I can never remember what it's
Oh,
called.
yeah.
It has like 46 different pools.
Yeah.
And
They're not sponsoring us.
Yeah,
Don't
about
call
to
them-
say
don't mention
because
them.
there's not called their names.
Can we keep?
Oh,
Can
That's
we?
what's with us.
Why
Yes,
can't we
I
be
mean-
graceful?
No, we can be
okay,
grateful without
hit
calling
me
their
up
name.
after. Hit me up after if you want to go. For me, it's that's my funny enough.
For
Funny
date
enough,
night,
I
has Pastor Femi been?
yeah, he took.
Oh, he
Nice.
took
Where's
you.
he
You
should go
call
to-
you Pastor
Who-
Femi.
Wait.
What's he
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do that with?
No, Esther.
Sorry.
Esther, it would be
Yeah.
very problematic if I'm doing date night with somebody
I
other
just
than
wanted to
him.
get
No, but we can be
clarification.
with your kids and
No.
Date
I
night with your
literally
kids.
asked for date nights,
No.
but I was just confused that he's going. I
Oh,
wasn't
sorry.
understanding. I wasn't comprehending.
Yeah, so that's he took me there date night one night, and I love it. So I've had him take me a
that's
couple
so
of times.
sweet.
Funny enough, when I took time off for today, that was what I was pushing for. Yeah, but this was great too.
That's really nice.
So we went out earlier, but that's my ideal great night. It's like 3 hours of his undivided attention. You can't do nothing. There's nothing to do. You
Yeah.
just literally from one pool to the other. They bring you drinks and food to the pool,
Yep.
lounging, and we talk, and they have like a salt floating pool.
Yep.
It's
And
very
a
relaxing.
cold plunge.
Music, lovely. They have 46 springs. So they have hot springs, cold springs, middle ones, salt ones. There are literally 46 different kinds of pools.
It's a great place, guys. It's in the colony. It's a spa place.
I love it.
Even though they're not
What's your
sponsoring,
idea of
it's a good place. Go to the place that is good. Don't wait for them to come to go to them.
Maybe we'll ask them to.
Yeah, we need to get.
sponsor us.
Are you getting paid?
It's a good place. Somebody needs to pay me.
Have
for
you
me
been
to-
there?
I have.
Oh, that's why. Okay,
Yeah.
what's
Yes,
your,
same place.
what she said?
Alright.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't trust. And okay, anyway, thank you so much, guys, for What you
watching.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Appreciate you. And
Um,
then we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.
bye.